Okay, yeah. So, shall we start or should we wait for others? Let's wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, 192, 193 people are keep joining, right? Okay. Okay, guys. So, any doubt, whatever we learned last week? Any doubts? Any confusion? Anyone? Let me know.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last session you were saying about break with label. I didn't get that actually.
Okay. Okay. Break with label. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. That's fine. Anything else? No, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So whatever assignments was given, right? So like I think from today we have a lab as well, right? Lab will start. Okay. So with the
Yes,
help of
sir.
lab faculty, right? You have to finish all the assignments. Okay. Everyone is supposed to complete all the assignments. Okay. So you have to go step by step. Okay. Section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And you have to finish all the assignments.
Deadline for submission of the assignments?
So that your coordinator will tell you, but right now, just practice as much as possible. So it's not limited to what I have provided, right? So you can take some additional assignments. You can get it from the Google or whatever uh, material you have, the textbook or whatever you have. You can use those examples as well. Okay. So, but at least whatever I have provided, that you have to complete and you have to submit. Okay. When you have to submit that, I cannot tell you. Maybe end of this module or before that. Okay. So don't worry on that. I mean, the date may be plus minus, but yes. So the idea is, yeah, you should have basic understanding of how you can write program. Okay. How you can write basic Java statements. How you can understand if else loop. The three things. These are the basics, because then only you will be able to understand the actual core Java session when will it start. Okay. Core Java, advanced Java, where you have to write a lot of codes. Okay. Okay, all right. So I think most of you are already there, right? 215, I can see 215, right? So we have, I think, more than that, right? 230 something. Okay. Anyway, so let's get started. Okay. So today agenda is like you may have seen, right? We are writing a class and then method, and then we are calling some, some library API, right? System.out.println and all, right? So today we'll try to understand what exactly class is, okay, and what exactly object is, and also we will try to understand the methods. What is methods? So three things we'll try to understand. We'll write some program, okay, and other concepts will learn, on Monday, okay. So let me share my screen. I'll share this one, and let's say this one notepad. Okay, let me open a command prompt as well. Okay, guys. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Okay. So let's get started. Yeah. So in the beginning, right, I said like when you're writing programs, when you're writing, Java programs or any programs, not only in Java, in even the other languages, right? There we have a different approach. Okay. Let me write in my notepad. Okay. So we can have a different approach. So one of the approach is called POP, which is called procedure oriented approach. We'll see in details. Okay. Another is called OOP, object oriented approach. Okay. So we'll see practically what is the difference between the two. Okay. But as part of OOP, okay. So in the very first day, everyone said, right, Java is an object oriented programming language, right? Object oriented programming language, correct? Now, what is object oriented? This object oriented is nothing but we're talking about OOP, object oriented programming. Okay, this is the short, right? I can say in shortcut, this is nothing but a OOP. Java is an object oriented programming language. Okay, or object oriented system, right? So we'll try to understand today what is object oriented concepts. Okay, so when I say OOP, there's few concepts are there. Okay, few concepts are there. So very first concepts, or we can say the primitives of object oriented programming concepts is class and object. What is class? What is object? Okay, there are a lot of other things we'll see, but these are the basics. Okay, even the program which you have written, right? Even the program which we have written, if you remember, let's take any one example. Let me write it here only. Public class. Okay. Let's say I'm saying say hello. Okay, right, let's say I'll say hello world, and here I have a public static void main string, yeah, GS. Let me save it first. Okay, and let me create a folder. So day 4, right? Today, yeah. So day 4, and I'm writing hello world.java. Okay, and I'm asking user enter your name. I'm saying string name equal to scan dot next, right? And one more things we are missing, which is nothing but a import, right? Till dot scanner. Okay, and then let's say the same thing you're printing system dot out dot println. I'm saying hello and the name which I received from the user, like this. Okay. Okay. So let me run it first, and then we'll understand. Okay. So it is in my E drive. Day 4, and here I have only one file, java c hello world.java. This is how I compiled, and this is how I run. And it's running. Enter your name, whatever name I passed, for example, this one. Okay. Yeah. So we have written this code, right? Similar code, but we did not understand what is this hello world, right? What is this scanner? Okay, scan system. Okay, so we'll try to understand today. Okay. Okay. So let's come here. So what I said, Java is an object-oriented programming language. Okay, it means it has some concepts. When I say object-oriented programming approach, it has some basic concepts. Okay, and this is called class, object. We have abstraction, we have encapsulation, right? We have polymorphism, inheritance. Okay, so there are some concepts. Okay, now see, when I say POP, procedure oriented programming language, you may have seen, if anyone have C or Pascal, right? In C or Pascal, whatever program you are writing, right? So all are procedure oriented. What is procedure? Procedure is nothing but a methods, function. Okay, and and the Java programming language or a C sharp, okay, or C++, okay, these are object-oriented programming language. Okay, I can see some background noise. Can you guys mute, or I can forcefully mute? Yes. Okay, guys. So because Java is an object-oriented programming approach, okay, sorry, object-oriented programming language, there are some concepts associated with that. Any programming language which is object-oriented in nature, right? So they have some concepts to understand. Okay. So the very basic is a class and object. So once you understand class and object, then we'll go slowly, like what is abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance. And after that, I'll show you the difference between the two. Okay. Right now, if I tell you, right, theoretically, if I tell you what is this, okay, you'll not be able to understand what exactly it is and how it differs. Okay. A problem is given to you. If you write in Java, okay, but you can write either in this approach or you can use this approach. Either approach you can use. Okay. Either approach you can use. But which one I should use and how they are different to each other, it will be very difficult to understand. Okay. So for that, I'll go step by step. Okay. I'm considering you don't know anything about object-oriented programming language. Okay. Basically, the concept wise, you don't know anything. Okay. I'm assuming you don't know anything. So let's start with the class and object. Okay. So forget about Java. In general concepts, what is class, what is object? Okay. So I'll give you some practical example. Okay. So I'll directly jump to my PPT. I'll show you one image, and then it will be more clear to you. Okay. Now, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So when I say class, right, class is nothing but a kind of, a blueprint or a template, a kind of model. Okay. And the object is the real implementation. Getting my point? So for example, let's say you have to build a house. Okay. So the very first step is you first prepare, some sort of diagram, which is called blueprint, right? And after that, your building is constructed. Correct? So that diagram is nothing but a class, and the actual building is nothing but the object. Getting my point? Similar to that, if you go to any automobile company, right? Tata Motors or Ford or any company, right? So they have models. Okay. So they have some kind of design, and also they have a practical kind of similar to a toys. Okay. The small model is there, and not only the model of the car they are manufacturing, but also they have model of you know uh, all the cars in the world, almost all the cars. Okay. So they have multiple varieties. Okay. They have a toy kind of model. They have their specification, the length, width, color, design, all those things. And whenever they have to launch a new car, so they look at all the models. They try to build a model which is different from the others. Okay. And after that, once the model is finalized, they order for the actual manufacturing of cars. Getting my point? So I can say this model, okay, model, or I can say the blueprint is a class, and the actual car or a building, which I said, is a object. Okay. It's clear to everyone, right?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Take one. Let's take one more example. Okay. So like in interview, right? When companies come for hiring, right? So their focus is always, uh, whether student is able to understand object-oriented concept or not. Okay, so I'm not sure the current trends. Okay, but usually it has, like they ask some questions from the object-oriented programming concepts. Okay, and how they ask is very different. Okay, it's not like what is class, tell me, what is object, tell me. No, it's not like that. So so for example, they can ask like, you have a pen, right? You have a pen or you have a mobile, right? So they'll tell you, tell me this pen is a class or object. Okay, so suddenly it comes, right? You'll say, oh, it's a class. Okay, oh, no, it's an object. Okay, so it depends like how you look at on that pen. Okay, but with this example which I've given to you, right, you can simply say, yes, this pen which I have is an object, right? Then where is the class? Where is the class? So the company who manufactures this pen, right, it must have some design, it must have some model, some specification, right? And that specification is nothing but a class. Okay, so in general, I can say a class is nothing but a model or a kind of template, okay, which I already have, or I can say prototype or a blueprint. Okay, and the object is the instance of a class. When I say instance, is nothing but the implementation. Okay, object is an instance of a class. Very simple to remember, simple to understand. There are multiple definitions you can find in book, okay, or on the website. Like you can say class is nothing but category of objects and act as a blueprint for creating such objects. Yes, this definition is also correct. When I have multiple, see, they're the same model car running on the roads, right? Okay, maybe the number is different, the station number is different, but they have, so for example, let's say Maruti Alto, for example, right? And the latest version, let's say any one of the version. Okay, so let's say Alto LX, right? So there are multiple cars running on the road. Okay, even on the same color, same design, everything is same. Registration number is different, right? And they all follow the one template, one design which they have. Correct. So looking at the cars on the road, I can say these are objects. Okay, and the blueprint or the model which you have, right? You can say that is a class, and I can say this denotes a category of objects. Okay, so one class represents not only one object but category of objects, because using one class I can have multiple objects. Okay, okay. Now coming back, the object-oriented programming language, right? So object-oriented programming language, what they do is they try to map the real-world entities in the program. Okay, so in real world I have something, I can say, okay, this is object. So in program also we have object. Okay, in real world we have some concepts similar to that concept we will have in my program as well. Okay, so if you look at, right, let me uh, jump to my code. Okay, my program which I've written just now. Okay, so in Java, whenever you have to write a template, okay, you can use a class keyword. Okay, we have to write a class keyword, class and the name of the class. Okay, so let me write a class. For example, here I'm writing a class and it's nothing but a car. Okay, so I'll say class car, open bracket, close bracket. Okay, so this is how I can write a template. Okay, class car, and there are some modifier which is optional, but let me write public class car. I'll save it. I'll say car.java. It is saved. Okay, clear. So this is the template I'm going to write. Okay, so actual car which we have, right, what it has. So the very first thing, a car, I'll take only two fields. So every car has, let's say, the model. Okay, so I'll say it has model. Okay, and let's say I'll say name. Okay, I take one more, let's say registration number. Okay, there are multiple fields, right? But I'll take the only 3. Okay, okay, and we'll have some, so these are called attributes of a car. Okay, and then we will have some methods as well. Okay, so what is methods? Method is nothing but uh, a function. Okay, a group of statements combined, right? That is a methods. Okay, so for example, let's say we have a function void move. Okay, okay, and let's say we have void change gear. Okay, okay, and we'll have here, I will have some statements, don't worry on that. Okay, okay, so this is how we write a class. Okay, now when we say object, what is object? So let me write it, and then I'll explain. Okay, when we, now let's say I have another class. I'll save it, class car test. For example, I have another class which is a test class, and we need an entry point. Any Java program start from the main, right? So I'll keep one main method here. I'll save it first. Let's say this is car test.java. Okay, so as I said, right, car is a template. Okay, how to create object? So in Java we have the way, I can say this is the way. I'll say this is my object 1, new car. This is how I create object 1. Another object, I'll say car 2, new car. Okay, so this is the template, and multiple object we can create, car 1, car 2, car 3, like that. Okay, it is similar to if you look at your scanner, right? Similar to scanner, right? So a scanner is a class, and a scan is an object of that class. Okay, getting my point? Okay, let me switch back to my PPT. Okay, then it will be more clear. Okay, okay. So first of all, why we need object-oriented approach? That's the very first thing, right? So the reason you can see, right, software is inherently complex. Any software, if you look at, right, it's not very simple kind of application. It's always a complex. Always there is gap between the user of a system and its developer. Okay, so developer is thinking in a different way, and the customer for which you are writing the software, they are thinking in a different way. So there is a mismatch. Okay, the way you think as a developer and the way the user thinks are different. Also, the changing requirement during the development. When you start writing a software, for example, you got a contract, right? Let's give me a app, right? Or let's give me a website, okay, or any application, right? So while development, always your customer will say, okay, I don't like this, I want this. So always the requirements are changing. Okay, and difficulty of managing software development process, that is a team effort. Also, the application is not built by one person, right? There are multiple people involved. Okay, 2 people are coding, 1 is testing, okay, 1 is deploying. Okay, so it's a kind of team effort. Also, user always want a simple, easy to use user interface. Okay, so basically, on a very high level, what I'm saying, the software is not very simple, right? Any software looks like very simple. Okay, it's a notepad, so it's a very simple software, right? Okay, or let's say any website or any app, right? It's not simple. Okay, now, because as I said, right, it's a team effort, and also changing requirement during development. Okay, so that is why people come up with a different approach of solving the problems in the software. Okay, so one of the approach is object oriented approach, and other is a procedure-oriented approach, right? There are two approaches: procedure-oriented, object-oriented. So this object-oriented approach has proved that it is better than procedure-oriented approach. Okay, and what it does, it handles all this scenario. Okay, you can have a easily adaptable or extensible system. When I say adaptable, means during the development, your software should be like it can adapt the any changes expected by the customers. Okay, so your program should be in a such a way that it can adapt to changing requirements. Okay, it's not like you have to rewrite. Okay, you have written some piece of code and some requirements change, you don't have to write it again. Your code should be in such a way that you can adapt the change requirements. Okay, also it should be extensible. Okay, so let's say you delivered application to the customer, and after that customer say I also want this feature, they add some more features. Okay, so you will not go back and you will keep writing from the beginning. Okay, you can extend. Your software should be extendable. You can add some multiple features without impacting the existing features. Getting my point? See, all these theoreticals. So as we go, you'll understand more. Okay, so these are the problems in the software industry, right? And the multiple approach are proposed, and people are using, a procedure oriented approach, and later on they find that object oriented approach is better than that. And what it solves the problem of this one, adaptable and extensible. So if you follow this approach, you can easily develop adaptable and extensible system, adaptable extensible software. Adaptable means your software can adapt new changes. Extensible, without impacting the existing feature, it can extend, with the new features requested by the customer. It's all theoretical. Okay, so if you look at, right, we'll see this in details after understanding the other concepts, but I'll tell you very high level. In a procedure oriented approach, what happens, the focus is always on the algorithm, function and procedures. Okay, functions and procedure. The approach is always, so I believe all of you know, right, what is function, methods. If not, let me know.
Yes.
You must have
Yes,
written,
sir, we
right?
know.
Yeah, you must have written some C program and all, right? With respect to that, Okay, although in our Java program, right, we have not written any function except the main function, right? The main program is also function, a method which we call in Java. Okay, but now and then we'll write a lot of functions, don't worry. So in a procedure oriented approach, the focus is always on the procedure. In object oriented method, the focus is always on object. Okay, focus is always on the object. Okay, so now let's understand with some practical example. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, yes, I'm back. I was taking water. Okay, guys. So let me share my pen program, and I'll give you one very practical example, and that you will really appreciate. Okay. Okay. Is it clear now? Everyone are able to see my pen program?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's understand. First of all, we'll try to understand. Sorry. Procedure oriented. Okay. Procedure oriented. Okay. Once again, procedure is nothing but a function, or you can say this is nothing but a methods. Okay. Okay. And we'll write lot of new function procedure. Okay. Okay. So let's understand. I have two developers. One is knows C programs, and he is a procedure oriented programmer. Okay, I can say. So basically, in Java also you can write a program in a procedure-oriented way. Also, you can write in object-oriented way. Both are possible. Okay, but let's consider this is procedure-oriented approach, and I'll keep one more developer. Let's say is object-oriented. Object-oriented approach. Okay. Okay. So what happens? Let's say a requirement is given by a customer that I want to build a car, and car should move from one place to other place. Okay. So graphically, you have to show, okay, car moving from one place to other place. Okay. So what you will do, I'm basically the requirement is like that. Let's say this is the car. Okay. And let's say this is the wheel of the car. Okay. Or let's say the graphics is given already. Okay. Or maybe you have to build it. It's not like not difficult. Okay. So this is the requirement. The requirement is move. The requirement is move. Okay. And it's about car. We are talking about the car. Okay. Let's make it clear. Talking about the car. Okay. Okay. So let's say the program is write a program in C or C++ or Java. Okay. To move a car from one place to other place. Okay. It should move from one point to other point. Okay. This is the point. Let's say this is the point. And from here, I want to move this car to here. Okay. So what happens? As a programmer, the very first thing comes into picture that how I can represent, right? How I can represent a car, okay? And they have told you that the car is already given to you, okay? The code to draw a car is already given to you. You have to write the logic to move the car, for example, okay? Or maybe you have to write it this as well. So as a C programmer or a procedure-oriented programmer, what I'll do, my logic will be how to write a move function. Okay, my focus will be how to write move function. Okay, I'll write. Okay, maybe I'll take some parameter here. Okay, I may take some parameter in the function, and I'll keep writing code, or I'll focus on my algorithm. What code should I write? What should be the coordinate 1, coordinate 2? Okay, and how it will move. Okay, got it. So the focus is that. The initial focus is how I can present this car on the UI, and second, what logic, what algorithm should I write so that my object can move from one place to other place. You have written the code, it's working, you're delivered to the customer. Okay, now let's say the requirement comes that this move, right, is not about car. If it is some other object, okay, for example, if they say that we also want similar behavior for a bus. Okay, but in the beginning it is clear that the object to draw, okay, is already is given. It's not that difficult. Okay, so they have to focus, you have to focus more on the move, how it works. Okay, so the same customer says, okay, so this program should work not only for car but should also work for the bus. If I click on the bus object, it should also move. Let's say some graphical tools are there where he can click, car becomes, and then he clicks, and then bus will become, and when he says click, it will move from one place to other place. So you'll say, oh, it's very easy, right? It's not difficult. I'll write here in the if condition, if it is car, move like this. Okay, basically as a simple program, I'll say, okay, if it is car, move like this. If bus, I'm just writing pseudocode, okay, move like this, and you're done. You said, okay, my work is done, it's working. So the existing software you modify a little bit and it is working fine, great. User is happy, it's very quickly you develop and it is working. What happens again, they comes with a new requirements. Okay, it should work not only for car but also it should work for, let's say, train. Okay, or they say it's an aeroplane, okay, or a ship, right? For example, okay, some other objects they come. This is just hypothetical example, okay. So usually what you do here, okay, you say again, oh, it's not difficult, right? I can write some more if else, and it is working fine. If it is, train move like this, okay. When I say move like this means you will have some piece of code, okay, some functions, some statements you are writing, something you are writing, okay, like that. Now with this approach, right, the very easy thing is that is quickly you develop and you can deliver, okay. But the problem is because you are modifying the code, the existing code you are modifying, right? There are cases where you made some changes for a train and it breaks the functionality of car and bus. This may not work. Getting my point? And the reason is
Yes, sir.
because this car, bus, train, because they all need some some variables, some state variables, right? Okay, there are some variable which are shared by this. There are some global variable, local variables. Okay, okay, which are shared by these functionalities. So there are cases you modify one place and it breaks other place. You fix it, it's working. Again, in future, you're changing one code, breaking the other code. Okay, you fix it is working. You deliver to the customer. Again, customer comes, okay, okay, and customer says, I don't want a new functionality, but in the existing car, the way it moves, I want to change. Or the way train moves, right? I want to change. I also want some sort of sound it should produce. Okay. Again, you go. Okay, I forcefully I muted. Okay, getting my point. So the problem is as the software, the size of software, size of code increases. Okay, that is the very practical things. So basically, I'll write it here. So as size of program increases, right? Complexity increases. Complexity increases. Why it is not visible? Related. Make it simple. As the size of program increases, complexity increases. Okay. And it is very difficult to adapt new changes, okay, or extend, the feature of the existing program. Okay, it's very difficult to extend the features. Also, it's very difficult to adapt new changes. Okay, are you getting my point? So this is not like it's not like it will not work. Okay, many softwares are well-known softwares are written in procedure-oriented approach in C or Pascal, right? Okay, but you have to handle those scenarios, those complexity you have to handle. What object-oriented approach says? It says that I'll solve this problem. I solve this problem. So in object-oriented concept or object-oriented programmer, right? When the first time this requirement comes, very first time, what they do, they talk about the data. Here, what we think, here my intention is always on the algorithm, the logic, the function. What code should I write? What should be my logic? What additional function I have to write? Which library function I have to call? That is where my brain goes. Okay, I think in that terms. But as in the beginning, like if you are object-oriented programmer, in the beginning itself, right? In the beginning itself, when they talk about the car, okay, you think about the car class. Okay, what you say? Okay, I'll have a class car. I'll just write some dummy code. Okay, and this will have a move methods. It will have a move methods, and it will have all the logic related to, okay, the car only. And if it requires some variable, okay, I'll have some variables here. Okay, variables. We'll see what these variables, right? Okay, so whatever attributes required for a car or some variables, I'll write it here. I'll write it here. Okay, and when the new requirements come for a bus, I'll not modify this one. I'll write one more class, bus. Okay, and I'll have this similar, I'll have similar here. Uh, I'll have a logic for a car, and this is nothing but a data I'm talking about. Let's talk about the data. This is nothing but data required to run a car, data required to run a bus. Okay, so what happens? The advantage is, right, in this case and this case, what is the advantage? The advantage is if some changes are requested, let's say the changes are for car. So I make the changes here, it will not impact my bus. Okay, if requests come for a bus, any changes requested, I'll modify here, I modify here, it will not impact the data of this. No impact. Okay, maybe there are some code which are common, right? There are some code which are common. Okay, so if you are a developer, right, if you are architect, in the beginning itself you realize that this car, and maybe in future user may come for a different objects. Okay, they may have some similarities. Okay, they may have some similarities. So what they can do in the beginning itself, they can decide, okay, I'll have one class vehicle which will have some generic, which will have some generic functionalities, and then I'll have a specialized functionality in the car, like that. This is called inheritance. In object-oriented concept, this is called inheritance. We'll see in details, don't worry. So they follow that logic. So car, bus, train, aeroplane, if they have some functionality which are common, they'll put in a parent class, and then they have a child class. Okay, getting my point? Maybe not clear to everyone, but as we go, you understand. So it's not like, because Java is an object-oriented program, it means you will write all the object-oriented code. You also write code like this. You may write all the logic in one function. Okay, but if you are a true object-oriented programmer, in the beginning itself, you always think in terms of the class and object. Clear?
Yes.
Any questions from this one? So this is procedure-oriented approach. Yeah, tell me.
No, sir, everything is clear.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, fine. Okay. So if anyone has doubt, let me know. If it is clear, then it's okay. So just to revise, okay. Procedure-oriented approach. The focus is always on the, okay, some background noise. Forcefully I mute. Okay. So in the procedure-oriented approach, whenever problem is given to you, you always, your focus is always on the algorithm. Focus is always on the logic. Usually you don't think about data. Usually your data is not protected, or you don't put more, concentration over there. Your full concentration is on the logic algorithm. In an object-oriented approach, the very first, the concentration, or the very first attention is how my data and how my logic will be put together. Okay. So in the beginning itself, you define the structure. Okay, this is the place where I write the logic algorithm, and this is the place where I'll have a data. This data will not be shared by the others. If there are some data which are common, or there's some functionality which are common, I'll put in a super class. I'll have a parent object, and then I'll have a child object. Okay, and the logic, if you change, it will not impact the others. Okay, so data protection in the beginning itself, you are thinking on that. Okay, now let me show you. This is what we're talking about. Procedure-oriented approach. The focus is on the function and procedures. You rarely think about data. Maybe there's some data shared by all the procedures, all the functions. In the object-oriented approach, you think in terms of object. Okay, so when I'm writing class, right? Every class you can have some objects, right? Okay, clear? Okay, so we have seen, right, the difference between class and object. All theoretical. Class and object you understood. Okay, with this example, I explained, right, what is class and what is object. Now let's understand what is object basically. So when you talk about any object, right, as I said, right, a car running on the road, okay, or the pen, right, or your mobile, right, any object, right. So an object is an entity that has well-defined structure and behavior. Structure and behavior, okay. Well-defined structure and behavior. When I say structure, right, so basically it has some characteristics. An object has some characteristics, state and behavior. Behavior is nothing but a functionality. Okay, so as I said, right, when I say a car can move, you can accelerate, okay, you can take a break, right? So all these are nothing but a behavior. This is how it behaves. Okay, behaviors, nothing but a, these are nothing but, I can say in the bracket methods I'm talking about. Okay, and it has some state. State means it will have some variables. Okay, so I'll show you this one. So this is the car, let's say. Okay, so when I say any car object running on the road will have some state. State means it will have some, some attributes. A car will have some color. It will have some average. It will have a fuel type. It's a petrol or diesel, right? So these attributes, right, are nothing but a state. State can be static or dynamic. Static means fixed, right? Once you buy a car, right, the color is fixed. It's a blue, then it's blue only. Okay. It will have some standard average, which company has manufactured, what is the power, fuel type. These are the static attributes. And there may be something which are dynamic in nature. For example, speed. When you're running a car, the speed will change, fuel level will change, tire pressure will change, gear will change, right? These are dynamic, which keep changing. So all in all, it's all about state. Okay. So any object which you have, whether it's a car or a mobile phone or a pen, okay, or a laptop, anything, is nothing but an object. An object has some state. State is nothing but attributes. Okay. So for example, if you talk about an employee, right? A company has an employee. Employee is also an object. Every employee will have some name, right? Every employee will have, let's say some employee ID. Okay. Every employee will have some address. Every employee will have some date of birth. Those are called state. Something which are, static in nature, but something can change also. Okay. Okay. For example, age of a person, right? That can change. That is dynamic. When I say behavior, right? Behavior is not a functionality. Behavior is how an object acts or reacts. How an object acts or reacts. That is what behavior. Okay. In terms of the state changes and operation performed. So when, for example, in the car, right? When the fuel level changes or speed changes, right? So movement is affected, right? Okay. When you accelerate, the speed changes. Okay. What will happen? The movement, the function. Okay. Movement is nothing but a behavior. The behavior will change. It was running in 50 kilometers per hour. Now it is running 60 kilometers per hour. Okay. So today morning the tire pressure are different, but today evening the tire pressure is different, right? So movement is little bit impacted. So behavior is nothing but a functionalities. Okay. An identity of an object. So like almost every object will have some, unique identity. For example, every car running on the road will have some registration ID, right? Registration number, which is unique. It will have some insurance number that is unique, right? Clear to everyone? So what we understood here, class and object, that's it, right? Class is a template where we define that what will be the structure of my object. We define, okay, this class will have these many behaviors. This class will have these many state. Okay, and when you create object, it will look like this. So the behavior depends on how you structured your class. Clear to everyone, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So further concept, like this concept we'll see after the break. Okay, but this one, right, class object, clear to everyone. Now let me write some class and all. Or we have already written, right? We already have written this one, right? Car test, right? Let's take this one. Okay. Okay, so you can see I have written a class, public class car, right? And here I have some string name, model, registration number. Okay, let's say name, I have some name. Let's say car name is, let's say Maruti. Let's say model. I'm not sure what is the model and all, but let's say model is Alto. Okay, let's say Baleno. Okay, and registration number is some registration number. Okay, let's say MH12, and then we have some number. Okay. Okay, so these are nothing but a state. Okay, this is nothing but state. Okay, in a car class, these are called state. It will represent the state of an object. When object is created, this will represent the state. And this move and change gear function which I have written, right? This is called behavior. Behavior. So we have two behavior, move and change gear, right? Behavior is also called methods. Okay, or I'll say functions. Behavior is also called methods or function. And state, right? This is also called instance variables. Okay, and behavior is also called instance methods, basically instance methods. Okay, clear? So when I say instance is nothing but object. Instance is acronym of object. So when object of this class is created, right? So every object will have these methods. Every object will have these methods. That is why we are calling instance methods. Every object will have these variables, this state. So instance variables, instance methods, or we can call state behavior. In object-oriented language, I'll say this is the state, this is behavior. Okay, in terms of Java, C Sharp, or C++, we say this is instance variable, instance method. Okay, so class is ready, class structure is ready. Now, how I can create object? So I said, right, in Java, if you want to create object of a class, you have to write like this, car. Let's say this is the C1. Okay, so if you just write like this, so C1 is not object. C1 is similar to a variable of type car. It's similar to write when you write like this, int x. What is the meaning of that? X is a variable of type data type int. Similar to that, C1 is nothing but a variable of type car. How object will be created? So in Java, if you want to create object, you have to write like this, C1 equal to new car. Okay, so there is a new keyword in Java which is used to create new object of any class. Okay, so this C1 object is ready. Now once you have the car object ready, okay, let's say I have a car, I just want to know the name of the car. So you can, using dot, you can get the state. You can say C1 dot name. Okay, so we already have a right name and model. I can say C1 dot name. Let's say I want to print, I'll say system dot out dot println. Okay, I'll say, okay, let's say I'm writing some message also, name equal to C1 dot name. I already have one car object. When I say C1 dot name, okay, so I'm just printing the state variable, the name I'm printing. So using dot is used to access the state. If you want to call a method, okay, I want to call this method, this one, move. Let's say in the move, I'm just writing a single method, sys out system dot out dot println. Okay, car is moving, for example. Okay, this is what I have. So if I want to execute this one, right, what you have to do? You have to say C1 dot move. So this dot operator is used to access state variable. Also dot I have used to call a methods. methods always followed by parenthesis. Okay, this method, always followed by parenthesis. This is how you can call it. Okay, now let's run it. Here.
The class is car test, not car. When you create object.
Sorry, can you come again?
Sir, when you create an object,
you have
to write the class name.
Yes, class name.
This is
Class name is car test, he's saying.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So see, it's not right, whatever class you have, you create object of this class only. Okay, so if you go to hello world program, right? This is hello world program, right? So I created object of scanner class. I created object of scanner. I have not written hello world hello. So it is all up to you, right? See, this test class I've written only just for entry point, because I know that every Java program needs a main method, right? So that is why I've written a separate class, car test. I have a main method. This is the place from where I will drive. Okay, this is the place from where I'll start my program. But the object I'm creating or a different class. It's a different class altogether. But you are right. This main method I can also write in this class. Here also I can have a main method. Same class I can have a main method. But intentionally I have written in a different class altogether. Clear to you, right? So because we are talking about the car, yeah.
Sir, so we have to import the class car from car.java because we have
Yes, you are right. We'll come to that. So right now what happens? Both are in the same folder. Okay, both are in the same folder, or essentially I can say same package. We'll talk about what is package later on. But on the very high level, I understand because car and car test both are in the same directory. So I don't need to write import, similar to your scanner, right? I don't need to write here. Okay, I can directly call it. Okay, but you are right. If car is in a different folder altogether, then I have to write import here at the top, similar to your scanner. So don't go in that complexity, but just understand. So in order to create object of any class, this is the syntax. I have to use a new keyword. Once I have object ready, if you want to access some attributes, you have to use dot operator. Dot is used to access any methods, any state or behavior. Okay. Let me run it. I'll go through again. Don't worry. Okay. So I'm writing. I'm compiling. Okay. So you can see the car test depends on car, right? Because I'm using car. So car must be compiled first. Because in the car test, a car is utilized, right? So I have to compile car first, and then I have to compile car test. Okay. If not, let's say I'm trying to compile car test.java. Okay, sorry, it is smarter than that. It first compile the car and then compile my car test because it depends on this. Okay, so if you go to the physically location, let me go there. The compiler is smart. Where it is, yeah. So we have day 4. You can see the car.class. I did not compile car, right? I just compiled car test.java. But because car test.java depends on car, it is using car, right? The compiler compiled car.java first and then compiled car test.java. Okay. And now how to run it? It's very simple, right? How to run the program? I can run, say, I'll say Java car test. This is the entry point, right? Enter. Name equal to Suzuki, car is moving. This is what 2 things we have printed on the screen. Okay. So first time, if you're looking at any object-oriented programming code, right, it's very difficult to digest, right? Why I'm writing 2 files here and there just for printing hello, name and car, right? Okay, but there is an advantage, we'll see. Okay, so any doubt? You understood, right? Class and object. Just focus on that. Class and object. Is it clear? What is class? What is object?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
So why we have to save the Java file with the same name as that we have given to the class?
Okay. Just give me a second. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. So what you're saying? Yeah, I'll quickly take this query and then we'll take a break. Okay. So what you're saying? Why we have the name of the class matching with the name of the file, right? This is what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So it is not necessary, right? First of all, it is not necessary. Okay. So let's say I will have I'll have just quickly I'll write a hello world. Okay. This one like that. Okay. Let's say this is my class test. Okay. And I'm just printing here test. Okay. Fine. And I'm removing this one. Okay. Class test. Public is optional. Okay, that's why I've written like this. Okay. Okay, so you can see class test. The name of the class is test, and this is what the code we have. But when I save, I'll not save with the test.java. I'll save it as a test2.java, or I'll say okay, I'll say testing.java. Okay, so name is different, right? So the file name is testing.java, but the class name is test. Okay. Now, when you compile, the only difference is the way you compile and run. When I say Java C, I have to give the file name testing.java, right? Whenever we compile, we always provide the file name. Okay, compile. Now, if you go to the folder where if you go to the folder where this is compiled, right? Then what should be the name of the class file?
Test.
Yeah,
Test.class.
it's not testing.class. Let me show you here only dir. You can see here test.class. The file name was testing.java, but the class name is test.class because class file is generated based on the what you have written here. It's not about the file name. Okay, so that is why when I run, I have to say Java test, not testing, because this is the class file which I have. Are you getting my point?
Okay, sir, got it.
So even if you can save it with a different name,
Hmm.
but when you run, you have to provide the name of the class, Java test. It is working. That is the rule number one. File name can be different, class name can be different, but when you run, you always have to provide the class name. That is the rule number one. Clear to everyone? Second is,
but his question was about creating an object. Means what kind of the name of a class and the name of an class which we are creating an object. It should be same now. Means I agree with that. The name will be definitely saved with the test dot class. But during creating an object, we should use the class name only, no?
yes,
Because we are creating the object of same class.
Yes. So see, in this program, we have not created any object, right? If we create object, this is how I create object. I'll say test t1 equal to new test. This is object 1. I'll say test t2 equal to new test. This is object 2. This is the class, right? The object of a class can be created in the same file as well. So this t1 is an object of class test. T2 is the object of class test. So you are right. Whenever we create object, always we have to use class name. It doesn't matter about the file name. Okay, clear? So that was the rule number one. The rule number two is, remember the rule number two is, if your class is public, then rule will change. Rule will change. Okay, how it will change? Let me compile. You will see cls. I can say Java C testing.java, and you will see compile time error. The rule is, if the class is public, your file name should be same as the class name. Clear?
Sir, why is it so?
This is the rule of the language, right? I'll tell you the reason behind that as well. But you understand, if any class is public, okay. So let me write here. The rule number 1 was Java file name and class name can be different, right? On compilation, I'll write it here. When you compile, pass file name. When you run, you need to use class name. Okay. Okay. Rule number 2. If the class is public, file name must be same as that of class name. Okay. If the class is public, right, the file name should be same with the, so it should be test.java. It should not be testing.java. Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Third. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Can a file contain more than one class?
Yes. Yes. I'm going to cover that. The point number 3 is a Java file can have multiple classes. Okay. Only one class can be public. Getting my point? So in this file testing.java, I can have multiple class. I can have class C1, for example. I can have a class C2. Okay, I can have a class C3. Okay, okay, okay. If any class is, if nothing is public, let's say this is also not public, this is also not public. Okay, we have a 4 class, but nothing is public. In that case, file name can be anything. File name doesn't matter. Okay, when I compile, look at here, Java C testing.java, and you can see how many class we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you can see C1.class, C2.class, C3.class, and also you can see test.class. Because we have a 4 class declared, so 4 class file will be created. So class file is always created for per class. Okay, so inside a testing.java, because I have a 4 different class, and that is why here I got 4 different class files, C1, C2, C3, and also I have a test. None of them is public, but if any of them is public, the name of file should match with that. Getting my point? A Java file can have multiple classes. Only one class can be public. Okay. So if I make this one public, what compiler will say? Compiler will say, because this class is public, the name of file should be c1.java. Compiler will tell you. If I compile, it will say, because C1 is public, the class file name should be c1.java, not testing.java. Clear to everyone? If you have a multiple one, I have, let's say I've written one more public, what it will say? Same thing. C1 is public, C1.java should be there. C2.public should be C2.java, right? A file cannot be both, right? C1.java, C2.java. It can have only one name, right? And that is why this rule is added, that if any file is public, okay, the name of file should match with that. And in one class, I can have only one public file. Sorry, public class, not more than that. Clear? I hope it is clear to everyone.
Okay, done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is meaning of the term public?
Yeah. So we have, public, private, protected. Okay. So this we'll learn after that. So public means, right, because who is calling main? Main is calling your JVM, right? JVM is a different program altogether, right? And public means it's accessibility. It is accessible to everyone. Public means it is accessible to everyone. If it is not public, it means it is accessible to something which is in the same directory. We'll see in details. Don't worry. These this modifier, right, public or protected or private, how it works, what exactly it is, we'll see one by one. Okay, when you start writing the class and object. Clear to everyone?
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, if you want to execute all the class at a time, then how to do it?
So all the class, see, a class you cannot execute unless it has some function, right? A class needs some methods, right? So in a main method here, you create object and then you call the methods. Okay, c1 dot, c2 dot, c3 dot. Okay, we'll see. Don't worry, we'll see that one. For example, here I'm saying c1 dot move, right? Class is just a structure, right? The main logic is there inside its function, right?
Yes, sir.
If you want to execute, you have to call it. Okay, so guys, actually I was supposed to take break on 9, but it's a 9:11, right? So let's take a break for 15 minutes, and then we'll start. Okay, we'll continue working on the class and object today. We'll see some example using class and object. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Stop my sharing. Okay. Hello guys, I'm back.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do, let me share my screen first. I'll share the full screen. Yeah. Okay. And let's close all the files. I'll write some program. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a class employee. Okay. I'm going to write a class employee, or let's say students. Okay, I'll take the example of student. Okay, student is my class, and I'll with respect to this example, I'll explain, right? Again, we'll try to understand class, object, state, behavior. Okay. And in order to test, right, what is there in student, I'll say student test. I'll write another class, student test, which will have a main method with main method. And from this class, I will create object of this class. We'll call some methods. Okay. So let me write. So I'm going to write a class student, open bracket, close bracket. This is the curly braces, right? Class is a keyword in Java. I'll save it. Day 4, let's say student.java. So we saw, right? We can have a different name for a class, right? The file name can be different, class name can be different. But to make it simple, right? Always try to keep, class name and the file name same. Okay. Easier to maintain, right? Okay. So class student and let's make it public as well. That is fine. Public class student, and I'll define some state. And basic state is nothing but, as I said, instance variables. Okay, and then I'll have some behaviors, which is nothing but instance methods. Okay, so let's write some. Okay, so when, let's say you have to write an application student management system, right? So in that, the very, important class is student, right? You have to capture the student details, right? So for every student, there is some, unique ID, right? So let's take this one as a number, for example. Okay, I'll say int, and I'll say roll number, for example, roll number. Okay, and every student will have some name. I'll say, okay, it will have a name. Okay, and let's say the course name, in which course he is enrolled, right? Okay, let's take only 3. Okay, roll number, name, and course. Okay, so these are 3. I'm just defining the class structure. This is how you have to do. Whenever you have to write a class, I have to think like what would be the state when we have objects. When we'll have a multiple objects, what will be their state? So this will represent the state. Okay, and then write a behavior. Okay, right now, just to make it simple, I'm writing only 2 methods. Okay, one is called void set and details. Okay, and here I'm just passing, let's say, int roll string, or let's say in the shortcut I'll write string roll r, string n, string course, and here I'll say roll number equal to r and name equal to n, course equal to c. See, if someone is not understanding, just let me know. Okay, many things, I'm assuming that you know already. Okay, but if you know, if you don't, I'll start with the beginning. Okay, and then I have a one method, say details. I'll say display details. Okay, and here I'm just printing println. Let's say I'm printing the value of roll number and then some space, and then name, then some space, and then course. Okay, so this is this independent class I've written, student, and these are the fields, and there are 2 behaviors, 2 methods, set details, display details. Okay, so these are the called methods. Okay, in Java or any other language, right? Methods have some name. Okay, methods have some name. And how will you identify some method or a variable? Okay, so variable also have a name, right? Variable has some name, but methods has a parenthesis followed by a parenthesis, open close, right? Open close. Okay, and method has some return types. Okay, it could be void or any data type. Void means this method is not returning anything. This method is not returning anything. Okay, a method may take some arguments. This is called arguments. Okay, so in this method there is no argument. I'm not accepting any argument. but here I'm accepting 3 arguments. Okay, roll number, name, and course. And using these arguments, I'm changing the instance variable. I'm saying roll number equal to this, name equal to this, course equal to this. Any questions people asking?
So do we have to use this dot roll number or this dot name?
Yeah, we'll come to that. Yeah, is right. I mean, we'll come to that. Don't worry. As of now, not required. Okay, as long as this name and this name, right, are not same, I can write like this. If they are same, then I'll use these. Okay, we'll come to that. So we'll move slowly. Okay, we'll slowly move and we'll understand each and every concept. So right now you can see I have some variables and I have 2 methods. Anyone has doubt what is methods and how it works? Any doubts about these arguments? I hope everyone understands. Sorry. Sorry. Any?
No, sir, we have no doubt.
No
Okay,
doubts.
Okay. All right. Okay. So those who have doubt, they can raise their hands. Okay.
Sir, methods बता दो.
Okay, methods बता दो, right? That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So methods are nothing but set of statements, right? What is statement? You know, right? A statement is ends with the semicolon, right? Any line you write, and if you have a semicolon, it means this is one statement, second statement, third statement, right? And the group of statements, right? You can have, inside a block. Okay. Method is kind of block. Okay. Open bracket, close bracket, and it has some name. Okay. It can have some name. It has some name. So any method which will have some name and there is some return type. We'll see how to use it. And optionally, it can accept some arguments. A method may accept or may not accept arguments. Okay. This method set details accepting some arguments. This method not accepting any arguments. Okay. Okay. We'll see like how it runs. Okay. Yeah, I'll give some assignment where you can practice methods as well. Okay. But right now, just understand these 2 methods are there. Okay. Now this is the class I've written, but we need a main method, right? Any program when we write, we need an entry point. So main method I can write in this class as well, or I can write in the outside class as well. Okay, but better I can write a separate class. Let's say the name of class is student test. Okay, and here I will have a main method, static void main. I'm going a little slow so that you guys will not miss. Okay, it's not 1 or 2 people. There are 258, right? And I'm not sure what is the state of others, how comfortable they are, right? Any programming language. So better just go very slow. Any one has doubt, they can interrupt me. Okay, but always interrupt me only the topic which we are discussing. Okay, so this is the entry point. This is the main class. Okay, as I said, right, this main class I can also have, sorry, main method we can have in this class as well, but the recommended way is you always write main in its different class. Okay, so I have this main in a student test class. In Java, main method cannot be outside the class. It should always be inside some class. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'll create object of student class. Okay, student. Okay, let's say the student 1, new student. Okay, student, spelling is correct, right? Student, new student. Okay, and then I'm calling a method s1 dot set details, right? This is what method we have, right? This method, if you want to call, as I said, right, if you want to call any method, you have to use dot. So I'm saying object dot set details, and because the set details method accepting 3 parameters, 3 arguments, I have to pass 3 parameters. So let's say roll number is 1, name is, I'm passing the name as, let's say, Alex, and the course is, let's say the course is Java, or I'll say, yeah, let's say DAC, DAC. Okay. Okay. And I'm creating one more object. Okay. I'm creating one more object S2. I'm saying S2 dot set details. Let's say the roll number is 2. The name is, let's say, Ajay, and the course is, let's say, the EDAC only. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, 2 object I created, and then I'm going to call this method. Now I want to call this method display details. Okay, I'll say S1 dot display details, and also I'm saying S2 dot display details. Okay, people are sending something on the chat. Okay, you are discussing something else. Okay, fine, no issues. Okay, now let's go to my command prompt, this one. Okay, so I'll first compile and then I'll explain. I'll say student test.java. Okay, so many errors, right? What it is saying?
Sir,
Sir, you haven't mentioned class.
yes, sir, class student test.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, by mistake. Yeah. Yeah, it is compiled. I'll run it. Java student test, and you can see the output like that. Okay. Now let's try to understand what happened and what we did. So as I said, right, class is a template. This is the template, right? Class is a template. Class is a template. Class is a model. Class is a blueprint for creating objects. Okay. What is objects? So this is the object S1, S2, S1, S2. These are the objects. How to create objects? Using new keyword. Student S1 equal to new student. One object is getting created. Okay. And then I'm calling set details. This is very important. Okay. Those who don't understand methods. So I'm calling S1 dot set details, and this is the parameter I'm passing. What will happen? This value 1, Alex and EDAC will go in this method set details here. Okay. And the value of R will be 1. The value will be Alex. C will be EDAC. Okay. So this R, N, and C will get the value which I'm passing from here. Okay. And after that, using this local variable, this is called local variable. Okay. I'm changing the roll number. I'm saying roll number equal to R. So whatever values were there, that will be here. And that will be stored in roll number. Whatever the value I stored in N, which is nothing but Alex, will be stored in the name. Similarly, course. Okay. So basically what we did, I passed some data from here, and those data are first stored in these variables R, N, and C. And using R and C, I change the value of instance variable, roll number, name, and course. And as soon as this method returns, and this method finished, right? What happens? This R, N, and C, the value of R and C will be destroyed, but this value will be there. Okay, so this student is ready. Similarly, students S2, and then finally I print. Okay, let's understand with some graphics. Okay, let me use my pen program.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm having one question.
Yeah.
In this program, we are making class as a public, complete class. But in C++, when we were creating a class, so we were just writing class student and then the data members as public or private. And then to access that data member, we were creating the functions or the methods. They were in public mode.
Yeah, we will do that as well. So whatever you're saying, right?
So then what is the difference here that we are making the class public or private here?
We are saying class as a public and private, right? This is what you're saying?
Yes.
See, the concept is same, right? We cannot have a top level class as a private.
Okay.
So right now we didn't talk about those modifier, right? We'll talk maybe tomorrow. I mean,
No, sir. I want to say that in C++ we were writing only class student.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This is optional. You can have this like that also. Okay.
So does not make any difference on writing public or not writing?
It will make a difference. It will make, when we'll understand modifier, right? Then we'll see. Okay. Then we'll see what is the meaning of that. But whatever the modifier you understood in C++, right? There is a little bit difference in Java. 99% same. There is a little bit difference. Okay.
Okay, and then
I'll show
as
you.
we are writing the main function in different class.
Yeah. So this also you can have in the same class. That is
but
also
cannot
possible.
be outside the class.
No, you cannot be outside the class. Every method should be inside a class.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I have a doubt. Go to student.java file.
Sir,
if the instance variable is same as the instance method variable, means both variables are same, then there is ambiguity that
yeah. We'll come to that. Okay, we have to use this keyword. Right now, I just make a very simple class. We'll change. We'll slowly change step by step. We'll understand the concept. We'll change it. Okay. Okay. Fine.
Sir, if you write int before set details.
Okay, here you are talking about
Yes,
this one,
sir.
right? Yeah.
From there we will pass return value to it.
Yeah. So basically, this method should return some values. Okay. Here it should write return some value. Okay. Any value you should return. Okay. Getting my point. So if the return type is in some data type, it means the method must return some values. Okay, whatever you have some calculated logic, or it is up to you what you're doing, but the return type, the return value and the return type should match. If it is void, it means you don't have to do anything. If
Hello,
it is
sir.
void, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. What's the difference between creating a variable of a class or creating an object of a class?
Yeah, so right now, see, this variable, right? Or I can say a reference, okay, are same. But object will be created only when you say new. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when I say here, like when I say student S1, right? Let's say like this. Okay. What is S1? S1 is a variable of type student, or I can say a reference of type student. Okay. This is what is the meaning is S1 is a variable, or I can say reference of type student. Okay. But when I say S1 equal to new student, then only S1 is pointing. This is the object actually. Now I'll say S1 is referring to object. This object. Okay. I'll show you graphically. Okay. Getting my point?
No, sir. Actually.
Okay. Okay. Let me draw a diagram. Then it will be more clear. Okay. Okay. So that's why I'm going slowly. Okay. So those who have doubts, they can ask. Those who don't have, then it's fine. Okay. Okay. So
what is the meaning of return 0?
Returning 0 value will be returned. So those who call, they can hold it. Not only 0, anything you can return. We'll come to that. We'll write some method which will return some value. Right now, these methods are not returning anything. The return type is void. Okay. Okay, fine. So because why we have a return type? There are maybe some method. For example, get factorial. There is a method name is get factorial. You pass some data, and the method is supposed to calculate some factorial, and it should return. Okay. So in that case, you need a return type. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So let me draw. So what is the starting point of my program? The main, right? Main is the entry point of my program, right? So let's start with the main. Okay. So when you run any Java program, I think I said in the beginning, right? There are two things come into picture: stack and the heap area. Okay. And also we have a method area, which we can talk like this. This is the method area. Okay. And let's say here. Okay. So when I say Java C student test, right? Student test.java. What happens? Both student.java and student test.java both are compiled, and you got class file, right? This is clear to everyone. Java C is fine. You got the class file. But when you run, when you say Java student test, okay, when you say Java student test, enter, what happens? The very first thing, right? Java virtual machine will come into picture, basically Java runtime environment. And what it will do, it will load this student test and a student, because student test depends on student, right? Both into the memory. This is the method area where you're both here, your student dot class and student test dot class. Also some other dependent class like system and string, all will be loaded. Okay, this is called method area. This is called method area. Basically, yeah, method area. Yeah, or meta specific method area. Okay, sorry. This is the method area where your class is getting loaded. Okay, right? So the class loader come into picture, it loads your class files, and then what happens? Your main method executed by one of the threads of the Java virtual machine, right? So basically, we'll not talk about threads at all right now. It will complicate, right? So basically, what happens? Inside a stack, one method, this is nothing but your main method, and we'll talk. So this main method, right? So one frame is added into the stack. This is for main method. Okay, and this is called heap area. Okay. I'll go very slow. This is called heap area, and this is called stack area. Okay, these are the memory area. Okay, when you run your any Java program, stack, heap, and a method area, these all three are widely used, right? Stack is the place where your method calls are tracked. Heap is the place where objects are getting stored, and method area is the place where class files are loaded. Okay, so when you say Java student test enter, the very first task, all the class files are loaded. Second, your main method is started. Okay, so basically your main method will be called. Okay, what is there inside a main method? We'll go step by step. The very first thing, if you look at in a main method, right? The very first thing, this is the statement, right? Because we are not passing any command line arguments, this args will not, will have any data, right? It will point to the empty array. Okay, so I'll not represent this one. We'll talk about this one. We'll talk this one later on. Okay, so but this is the first thing which will be evaluated. Args is pointing to empty array because we are not passing any command line argument. Now coming to here, line number 4. Student S1 equal to new student. Okay, this S1 is nothing but kind of variable of student, right? So first of all, S1 variable is created on the stack. Okay, let's go back where it is. Yeah, so here S1 will be created. Okay, remember S1 will be created on the stack, but S1 equal to new student, right? So new student, nothing but a new object we are talking about. So object is created on the heap area. What will happen? Object will be created on the heap area, and this S1 will point to this one. Okay, now what this S1 has, let me make it a little bigger. This object, and this is pointing here. Okay, let's go back to the code again. Okay, we'll go step by step. Okay, so what I said, the student S1 equal to new student, right? When I say new student, it means a new object will be created on the heap area. Okay, and S1 is a variable, will be on the stack, and S1 will point to this one. When I say pointing, means address of this object will be stored in S1. Getting my point? In a very simple language, wherever this object is stored, right, on the heap, the reference, the address will be stored in S1. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this is all about this one. Student S1 equal to new student. Okay. So this line number, it means like this diagram. Okay. But what happens about this object? What will be there in this object? Okay, object is getting created, right? But what is there? So it depends on what is the structure of the class. If you look at this one, right, new student, what is student? Student is a class which this instance variable, right? So object will have this state variable, roll number, name, and course. Okay. So basically, if you go here, it will have here, you will have roll number. Okay. Because we have not specified, you have roll number, because the data type is int, it will be 0. The initial value, the default value, name, default value is null. I'll tell you what is this. And then we had a course, right? Course will also be null. Okay. So after the line 1 executed, this is what happened. This is the structure of, right? This is the structure. This is the structure of the object, which is created on the heap area. Now the question is why roll number equal to 0? So if you, let's go back here in the code. The roll number, what is the data type of roll number? Int. The default value of integer is, if it is an instance variable, if it is a state variable, right? The default value is 0. If it is int, if it is a double, it's a 0.0. Okay. If it is Boolean, the default value is false. Clear? Okay. What about the name and course? Name and course is also a variable of class type. It's not a primitive type, right? It's a string is a class, right? Similar to my student, right? So any class type variable, the default value is null. Name is null, course is null. Clear? Right? Yes. The default value of any class type, which is called reference type, okay, is always null. So this is the initial value. Okay, that's what happened. So line number 1, clear to everyone? Any doubts? Those who have that, just point me out.
So what is class type variable?
Yeah, class type variable, it means when we have a variable, right? See, every variable has some type, right? Every variable has some types, right? So let's go back to our notes right here. So if I say int x, right? Okay. Or if I say string name, okay. Or I say double, let's say salary. Okay. So these all are nothing but a variable, right? X is a variable. Okay. X is the name of memory location, whose data type is int. Name is the name of memory location, type is string. Okay. So if it is, class, string S is the S capital, right? It's a string, it's a class. So that is why I'm saying name is a variable of class type, or basically I should say reference type. Okay. The good word is reference type. Okay. But X is here, X is a variable of int type. Int is nothing but a primitive data type. Int type, integer. What is int? Int is nothing but primitive, right? Remember, right? Primitive data types we have int, we have an int family, right? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, right? All in lowercase. These are the keywords in lowercase. Keywords in lowercase. Similarly, here salary is a variable of type double. Okay. So if on the left hand side, if it is a class, so for example, in this case, string is a class. Okay. If we have a, let's say, scanner, S. What is S? S is a variable of reference type, because scanner is not a primitive, it is a class. Okay, got it? Clear?
So we could have written string as word of string in the small letter also, no?
No. We don't have any type like this, string name. We don't have like this. It should always be capital, because it's a class type. Okay.
Hello, sir.
What primitive type we have? This one you remember, right? Byte, short, int, long, float, double. Yeah. Someone is asking. Just ask me. This is the type. This is the type we have. Apart from that, whatever you're saying, right? All are class type, right? Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, string is a class, right?
Yes, string is a class.
Sir, we are not importing string class in our program.
Yes,
Still, we are able
question.
to use.
Yes. Good question. So see, in any program, right? String, right? A string or a system, right? They are part of default package. Okay. So for that, import is not required. Even if you write it, it's fine. Import java.lang.string. Okay. Okay. So basically what happens, that will come in a later session, right? Don't worry on that, but just understand this string, okay, or system.out.print, this system, right? These class are available in this package, okay, and this is by default imported. These are the fundamental classes, and that is why I don't need to write import. Import is not required. It is already there. Even if you write, there is no error, no compile time error, no runtime error, okay? But you don't need to write import. But the scanner is a utility class. It is in a different package, and that you have to write it. Okay, so that will come in a later session. What is package and why we need to import, why we don't need to import.
Yes.
So everyone clear on this line? Student S1, new student.
Yes, sir.
New student means new object will be created on the heap, and S1 will be on the stack pointing to this object. Okay, and because student has some structure, and that is why all the fields will be take the default value. Okay, roll number will take 0, name null, course null. After that, I'm saying s1.set details. I'm calling a function, right? I'm calling a method set details. What set details does? This values 1, Alex, EDAC will be passed here. Now R will be stored. R will store 1. Okay, N will store Alex, C will store course. Okay, and then I'm saying roll number equal to R. The value of R will be copied to roll number. Okay, so value of R, what we have passed? We have passed 1, right? 1 will first come in this variable, and from this variable, roll number will be initialized. So roll number will be 1. Name will also change, course will also change. Okay, so basically after this line, okay, if you do the graphics part, 1 Alex EDAC, this will change, right? So basically what will happen here, this will become 1 and this will become Alex. Okay, so what I'll do here, I'll write it here. This will become 1. Okay, name will become Alex. Okay, but Alex is also some object, right? Alex will also object, right? So that Alex will be somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here, Alex. Okay, and this name will point to this one. So basically Alex stored in name. Similarly, the course will have EDAC. Getting my point? So in Java, every object will have its own, on space. Okay. So this was a student object. This is string object. This is also string object. So once line number 2 executed, this is what will be the structure of the object. Any doubt in this? Why I created separately? Because why I created separately? Because see, in a student class, see, name and course are reference type. They are also object, right? So that is why they will occupy different space. Okay, but roll number is primitive. So that will be stored there only. Okay. So after line number 2, your object is ready on the heap. Object is ready. Now you can utilize. You can call s1.displayDetail. The value will be printed. But again, I'm creating another object, s2. S2 equal to new student. What will happen? The new object will be created. It will not, it will not create any problem with the first one. Okay, they no overlap, right? It's a new object. So what will happen? S2. After that, S2 will be created. Okay, and S2 is a different object altogether. Somewhere on the heap it will be created. Let's say here we are creating S2. Okay, S2 will be pointing here. Okay, and it will have the similarly initial value of roll number will be 0. Okay, and name will be null and course will be null. Okay, but after the second line where we are calling set details, okay, so roll number will become 2. Okay, and the name and the course will be different, right? We passed Ajay, so we will have here Ajay, we'll have course here, EDAC. DAC or whatever we have, Ajay. Okay, and this will point here, this will point here. Clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, you mentioned that the string class and system class were imported by default.
Yes, yes.
But we have used a student class, which was a different class in a student test class. So, and we didn't
Yes, yes.
imported a student class. So
Yes,
how?
yes. So the reason is because both student and student test are in the same folder, day 4. You can see.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is the reason. Okay, but if you look at the student string, and they are in a different package. In the Java library package, we have a Java folder. Then within that java.lang, within the lang it is there. Something which is outside your current folder, it means you have to do some sort of import.
Okay, sir.
Sir, if there are two files in the same folder, so we have to compile both the files to get
Yeah, you cannot have a two file with the same name in the same folder. You cannot have it, right? It's two file with the same name in the same folder, right? Not possible, right? One will override the others. Okay, so up to this clear to everyone.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yeah?
Sir, for method where the memory get allocated?
Yes. Good question. So that's I called in the beginning itself, right? This is the place, method area, where method area where your class is getting loaded, and also all the memory for methods is there in the method area only. That is the name is method area. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now, moving on, if no doubts, now what we are calling this method display details. In a student class, we have two behaviors like set details and display details. So we are calling display detail methods. Okay, and what we are printing, roll number, name, and course. Okay, so what will happen? How you can call? You can say s1 dot. You can say s2 dot. Right? Dot is used. So when you say s1 dot, it means it will display detail of s1, not s2. Okay, so basically, if you move to a diagram right here, when I say here, let's say this is the place I'm writing here. When you say s1 dot display details, it means it is talking about what it will display. It will display the details of s1, this one, not this one. S1 dot, it means it will display 1, it will display Alex, whatever we have written, DAC. Okay, but when we say S2 dot display, okay, what will display? It will display 2 Ajay DAC. Clear? So remember, there is no conflict. Dot talking about this one only. S1 dot talking about this one only. No doubts at all, right? Any doubts? Let me know. No doubts, correct?
Sir, if we write student s2 equal to s1, then only one object will be created and both s1 and s2 have the same reference.
Yeah, let me cover that one as well. Okay, so now guys, so you don't have any doubts, right? Let's say here I'm just writing s2 equal to s1. So before calling display, what I'm saying, s2 equal to s1. What is the meaning of that? The value of s1 will be copied to s2, right? This is what the meaning of, right?
The reference.
Sir, actually reference is being copied.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So for example, you have an int x equal to 10. Okay, and we have y equal to 20, right? And if I say x equal to y, it means the whatever y stores, right, that is copied to x, right? After this line, the value of x will be what? 20, right? When I say x equal to y, it means the value of y is copied to x. Now both x and y will have 20 as a value, correct? Right? This is the simple variable. Okay. Now, when I say s2 equal to s1, okay. Now let's move to the diagram. Okay. move to the diagram, right? Here, if I say here, if I say S2 equal to S1, okay. Okay, what S1 stores basically? S1 stores the address of this object, right? Some reference, some number is there, 1, 2, 3. Because on a memory, every location has some address, right? So let's say this object which is stored here, right? It has some starting address, right? That's the address stored in S1. Okay, let's say that's 1, 2, 3. And this one has 4, 5, 6, right? So when I say S2 equal to S1, it means S2 will also have 1, 2, 3. Correct. So what does it mean? It means that now S2 will no longer pointing to this one. S1 will now point to this one only. After this line, see, after this line, remember, after this line, right, S2 equal to S1, S2 will have the same value which S1 has. Whatever S1 has the address, the same address will be stored in S2. And that is why S2 will also point to the same object. Clear? Now, if you again write, do like this, S1 dot display detail, what will happen? If I say S1 dot display details, what will be printed? 1 LX DAC, right? And when I say S2 dot display detail, then also the same thing will be printed, right? Here also, when I say S2 dot display detail, it's the same thing. Same will be printed, no changes. Earlier we have a different data, right? Because it was pointing here. But now here S2 also pointing to the same one. Remember, when I say pointing to, right? It's nothing but referring to, right? What it means, S1 and S2 both have the same address. They're keeping the address of the same object. That is why they're pointing to the same object. So when I call S1.display, S2 display, they are same. The same will be printed. Okay, clear? So this S2.S1 is very important to understand. What will happen? A reference of S1 copied to S2. Reference is nothing but the address I'm talking about. Okay, some virtual address. Okay, so if you run, yeah.
Sir, this means object is created on stack level and variables are created on heap level. Data
No,
variable.
no. See, these S1 is also variable, right? It's a reference. This is the actual object. Object always created on the heap area. Object always created on the heap area, and the variable which we are creating in the main method, that is created on the stack. Further, object can have a variable. Object can have some variable. These will be on this heap only, because the object itself is on the heap. So all the data which is there in the heap, it will be on the heap only. Yeah. So this concept is very important to understand. Okay. So what we understood, class, object, right, and how to call a methods of the object using dot. Okay. You can call dot set dot display. Okay. Now let's run our code, which already we have.
If S2 equal to S1, after return the S2 equal to S1, S2 reference is permanently disappear. So there is a garbage collector. So how garbage collector delete? It will delete after that.
Yeah. We are not talking about garbage collection right now, but just understand this will become a garbage because no one is pointing this object, right? This will become a garbage, right? And we will have auto garbage collector, right? So we'll talk on that topic later on. That is part of your core Java session. Okay. And that's not very difficult to understand. It's very easy. Just understand it becomes a garbage. Okay. Whenever sweeping will do, it will be cleaned it up. Okay.
Hello,
okay.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, set display and set display and set details and display details are a method. Okay.
Yeah.
So why are that not loaded in method area?
So this method itself, the method structure, right? This structure is in the method area. But when you are calling, right, so that will be executed.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
The structure will be on the method area, but the actual runtime it is used, right? Okay, so let me run this one. Whatever code we have modified, right? Let's save it and compile and run it. CLS. I'll compile it and then I'll run it. You can see the output are same because both objects are pointing to the same object. Okay. So we have today's session till 10:30, right?
45.
10:45. Okay. Fine. We'll cover some more concepts. Okay. So no doubt in this program, everyone is clear on that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Actually, in our program, we are in the class student, we are defining name and course as a variable of type string. And in the diagram, we are saying that string name and course are objects, so they are pointing to the objects. So are this? So are the names and courses the variable of string type or the objects of string type?
Yeah, you can say variable of string type. Okay, but when you store the data, right? See, in the beginning, I can say name is a variable of string type. Okay, but it doesn't have any data, right? It is null. The beginning, it is nothing but a null, right? It's a null.
Yeah.
But after this line, right, name is pointing to the actual object in the heap.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, generally we call it, right. We use the term. We can say name is a string object, course is a string object. That is fine. But in the beginning, it is pointing to null. So when I say variable or object, it's kind of same, right?
It's
Here
just for our understanding.
Yes, our understanding. This is also a variable. This is also a variable. Okay, but this is a variable of type int. This is a variable of type string. Name is an object of type string, but roll number is not object. Okay. Whenever on the left hand side we have a class, I can say it's an object type variable, reference type variable, or simply say it's object. Yeah. Clear?
So,
clear to tell me.
So objects in C++ and objects in Java both are created in the heap.
See, in C++, I don't remember, but yes, heap is the place where objects are getting created. Yeah. But I don't remember actually. I also know C++.
Yes, sir.
I forgot. Yeah.
Okay.
It is same.
Yeah.
Same, sir. Same.
Yes. Okay. So if no doubts, we'll move on, right? Okay. Let's move on.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Tell
So
me.
why are we using double inverted comma in println?
Hello.
Sir, in student.java page. Yes, sir.
Student.java. Where?
Double inverted comma in println.
Okay, this one you're talking about. Okay, this is just a space, right? When we got the output, right? Just we got the output. If you look at, right, the value of roll number printed, right? This is 1, and after that I just printed some space. It's a double quote actually. So I just want to print a space so that my output looks good. That is why I put a space, right? You can see 1 space Alex, then space EDAC. So this is a kind of formatting, right? You can put anything. You can put a comma also. Okay, I can have.
So
like
why
this.
are we using plus sign?
Yeah, so this is see, plus is used to concatenate. Okay, so this value plus whatever this value is there, it will just append. Okay, if you remember, right, hello world program, right? If you remember hello world program, this one, right? Here you didn't ask this question, right? What is the plus means? Plus is, see what plus is, if both the side left and right are number, it will add, right? If any one of them is a string, right? A string plus string is a string, or string plus anything is a string. So plus will just append. So on the screen, the output will be hello and then name. I can put some space here. For example, I can say some more space, for example, like this. What will happen? This will be printed, and then this space will be printed, and then value of this value will be printed. Clear? Not clear? Still confused? You can remove this one, right? If you don't want to remove this one, you can print separately roll number, then name, then course. Okay, or you can put a comma. I'll print roll number, comma, value of name, then comma. This is the fixed value which we are printing on the screen, and this is the variable. Roll number is 1 will be printed. If it is 2, 2 will be printed. Similarly, name and course. Yeah. Any doubts, guys? No.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay. If anyone is still confused on any of the lines, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay. 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 So this this is fine. Let me write a different version of the same class. Okay. You already have a recorded session, so you can get it right. I'll modify this class. Okay. Okay. So what exactly we are doing as part of the set details? What we are doing? We are just, the instance variable. These are the variables which we are using these data to initialize, right? In the beginning, they are null, right? In the beginning, these roll number, name, or course are null. We use the set detail method to initialize these values, to set the values, right? In Java, we have another way, okay, which is much simpler than that. Using that also we can initialize, and that is called constructor. That is called constructor, okay? So basically, the same thing I can achieve using constructor. What is constructor again? So constructor is similar to the method. This is the method, right? Constructor is also similar to the method. The only difference is the name of constructor is same as the class name. So I'll write like this. Okay. I'll write like this. Everything will be same. Everything will be same. The only difference is the name of this method is similar to the class name, and there is no return type. Here we have return type, right? Void. Here there is no return type. You can have a public, private, that is another point, but there is no return type. And whatever you have written, the same thing will be go here. And this becomes a constructor. This is called constructor. What is the use of constructor? Constructor is used to initialize instance variable. Constructor is used to change the value of instance variable. Not change, initialize. To provide the initial values to the instance variable, we are using constructor. Constructor has the same name as that of class name. Similar to method, it accepts arguments. Okay, it accepts argument, and using those arguments, we can change it. Now, what is the advantage? The question is, what is the advantage? Why not I can use this one? This looks much simpler than that, right? The advantage is you don't have to call manually. See this set details, right? What you are doing here, you are saying s1 dot set details, right? This is what you are calling. This is how you are calling, right? S1 dot set details. In case of constructor, you don't have to call like this. What you have to do, you have to just pass this parameter here, and this is no longer needed. This is no longer needed. Same thing I'll do here also. I'll put it here. Let me comment this one as well. Done. So in case of method, you have to explicitly call. You can say object dot method call, object dot method call. In case of constructor, you don't have to say dot. Instead, when you create object, that time only you can say this is my initial values. Okay, what will happen? This will act as a method. Okay, the student method will execute this one. Whatever data you have passed, that will be stored in this local variables. This is called local variables, and this is called instance variable. Okay, remember. So here R, here R, and C are local variables. Okay, local variables. Okay, let me write here. Okay, R and C are local variables, and these are called instance variable. Okay, locals variables life is till this method. Okay, till this method. As soon as method call finish, they will be destroyed. Okay, so don't worry on that as of now. So what I'm saying, this constructor is used to initialize instance variable. This value has been changed. Okay, everything will be as it is, no changes. Okay, instead of set details, I'm using constructor. Okay, let me compile and run. Okay, let me compile and run CLS. Java C, compiled, I'm running Java student, same output. Okay, 1 Alex, 1 Ajay, 2 Ajay, Ida. Clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in fact, what is a constructor, by the way? All details you can see on my slides, but right now I'm writing just to understand. Constructor is used to initialize instance variables. Okay. Name of constructor is same as that of class name. Correct? Third, there is no return type like methods. Okay, we don't have any return types. Okay. Second, yeah, clear, right? Everyone understood. Now moving on. Similar to methods, right? Okay, we can have a methods, we can have a method like this. We can have one more methods. Okay, name is same, but the difference, let's say I want to initialize only roll number and name. I don't want to initialize course. So in Java, right, two methods can have the same name, possible, but arguments should be different. Here we have a 3 argument, 1, 2, 3. Here we have a 2 arguments, 1 and 2. So roll number is set to some value, name is set to some values, and course, because we are not setting course, will be null. Right? So we can have, two methods with the same name but different argument. Same is true for the constructor as well. We can have a multiple constructor. Okay, we can have multiple constructor. Okay, we can have multiple constructor with a different argument possible. I'll say, okay, I'll use this one to initialize roll and name. Now the question is, what is the advantage? Why should I write two constructors? So there may be scenario where I don't want to initialize course. I want to initialize roll number and name only. Okay, so for example, the second object I'm creating, let's say I want to initialize only roll number and name. So in that case, you don't have to pass this one, right? I'm not passing course. I'm just passing roll number and name. So basically, because I'm passing two arguments, so there must be a constructor which is accepting two arguments. And that is why I created this one. Okay. Okay. There may be a scenario where I don't want to pass anything in the constructor. I don't want to pass anything in the constructor. In that case, what will happen? I can have a constructor with no arguments. It is doing nothing. It is doing nothing. It's an empty constructor. I'm not passing anything. Possible. So we can have a constructor with the same name. Sorry, we can have a multiple constructor with a different arguments. 3 argument, 2 arguments, 0 arguments. Now the question is, what is the advantage of this one? This one is understood, right? This one is clear. But what is the point of this? So maybe there's a scenario where, roll number is defaulted as 0, that is fine. Name and course are null. What I want, I don't want user to pass anything, but by default, I want to set name is empty. Okay, course is empty. It doesn't depends on the user argument, whatever user has passed. It's by default, I'm saying name is empty, course is empty. In that scenario, this is useful, right? Okay, now how to use it? Let's say I'm creating one more object. Let's remove this one. You already have a recorded, so you can see it from there. This is everything I'm removing and creating one more object, and where I'm saying that I'll not, I'll not pass any argument, and I'll say s3.display. Okay. Now let's compile and run. I can say star.java. Star means it will compile all the Java file within the directory, and then I'll say Java student test. Okay, even I can say student test.java, doesn't matter. Okay, sorry, spelling mistake. Sorry, when we are running, we don't have to pass Java, it's only student. So what we are getting here, 1 Alex EDAC, 2 Agenal, and this is the empty space, right? This is the empty space. That is why we're getting 0. Okay, because we're not passing anything. We are setting as an empty, right? Or maybe we can pass some default value. Instead of empty, we can have some default value. Okay, name is, let's say, guest. Course is EDAC. So in this case, if I compile and if I run, it's a 0, guest EDAC. Roll number is not assigned, 0 is there. Okay, so in one line, constructor is used to initialize instance variable. We can have multiple constructors. Constructor name is same as the class name, no return type. It may have arguments. Multiple constructor possible, similar to multiple methods. Okay, method also we can have a multiple methods, but with a different argument. You cannot have a 2 methods or 2 constructor with the same name and same arguments. This is wrong. This will give you error. Set details. You cannot have 2 methods with the same name and the same number of arguments. Not possible. If I compile, you'll get error. What is saying? The method int and string already defined in the class. The method int and string already defined in the class. This is the duplicate. Okay, but you can have a different order. You can have like this. I'll say student string n, and then I'll say int r. This is possible because signature has changed, right? Int r n, and then string n, and then int r. Then it is fine.
But sir, how to call those methods?
Yeah, so when you call this method, right, the first time when you call this method, you pass the number and some string. Here you pass first string and then number. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can see this is compiled successfully. So let's say we want to use this one. Okay. So the third object which we have, right, where I didn't pass anything. What happens? S3 object is getting created on the heap, and because we didn't pass anything, the default constructor will execute this one, empty one, and name equal to guest course is set. But after that, I want to call this one, for example. Okay, so I can also use the methods. I can say s3 dot set details. Okay, so it depends on the order, right? It depends on the order in which you call. So if I pass roll number first and then name, then this will execute. But if I pass name first and then roll number, then this will execute. Okay, so let's call this one. I'll pass first name and then roll number. So here I am saying I'm saying name first. I'll passing, let's say, Sandesh. Okay, and then I'm passing roll number. Okay, so because depending on the order of the arguments, the corresponding method will execute. Okay, because I pass string and number, so it will go there. It will find out there are multiple version of method, which is matching. This is matching name, and so this will execute. Roll number will change, name will change. Now if we run, it will work as expected. Yeah, clear. So similar to like methods, we also can have a constructor, right, where we have a different order of arguments. So this is right where we have a multiple constructor with the same name or multiple method with the same. This is called overloading. This is called method overloading. The concept is called method overloading. Okay, what it means? Same name but different arguments. This is called same name, same method name, same method name, but different arguments. So when I say different argument means either there are three rules. Either number of arguments should be different. Okay, one method accept 2 arguments, another accept 3 arguments, or order of arguments can differ, or type of arguments. Third is type of arguments. Okay, so for example, I can have a method. Type means, for example, I can have a method that says set details. Okay, and here let's say I have 2 methods. Okay, here I have a string name. Okay, so name has a data type string, and here let's say we have int roll. So both are allowed, although the name are same, but type are different, right? It also accepting one argument, but because data type is different, then that is allowed. That is allowed. Type of argument. This is the meaning of type of arguments. Okay. Basically, I'm talking about data type of arguments. Okay, but if you write like this, okay, a string course, this is wrong. 2 methods will having the same name, but because the type are same, when you call this method, when you call this set detail method, there's a confusion, right? When I say s1 dot set details, if I pass, let's say DAC, right? Okay, but DAC is a string, right? This string can be stored here as well as here. So there is ambiguity. Compiler will flag. Compiler will give you error. Compile time error. Compiler will give you compile time error. Okay. So either data type should be different, or number of argument, or order of argument. Clear to everyone, right? Yes. Clear to everyone. Fine. So method overloading understood. Same method name but different argument. In Java, we can have. Okay. Let me write here. Constructor can also be overloaded. Constructors can also be overloaded. So similar to methods, not only function, constructor can also be overloaded. In the same way, the way we have a method overloading. Okay. So same name, different arguments. Here also we will have a same name, but different arguments. When I say different means either number of arguments are different, or order of arguments are different, or data type of arguments are different. Okay. Now coming back here. Okay. Now someone are asking, right, in the beginning, that what if this local variable, right, and this instance variable have the same name? Okay, we'll see more details in the next session. Okay, so for example, instead of R, let's say I have a roll name, roll number, and here I have to write roll number then, because using this I have to change this one. So there is a naming conflict, right? The local variable and the instance variable, if they're the same name, in that case what will happen? When you say like this, it means you are changing the local variable itself. This will not be changed. In order to fix this, okay, there is a this keyword in Java, THIS. You can say this dot roll number equal to roll number. This means I'm talking about the current object. So in that case, this syntax is correct. The roll number of current object, it means this one, will be modified correctly. There is no issue, no conflict. So this always presents a current object. Current object means when you are creating object of S1, so this means S1. When creating object of S2, this means S2. We're talking about S2. We're talking about S3. Okay. So you got it, right? Clear to everyone. One more rule related to constructor. One more rule related to constructor is, in the beginning, if you remember, right, we have not written any constructor, right? The rule is, if you don't write any constructor in a class, what happens? Compiler will add a empty default constructor. Getting my point? So remember, like before this example, right? Before this example, I have chosen, let's say we had a car, right? Car, right? You can see in a car, we don't have any constructor. We have only methods. In a car test, if you look at, where is car test? Yeah, this is car test. I'm creating an object like this, right? Because this is the syntax for creating object, right? So if you look at, this is nothing but an empty constructor, right? This is nothing but default constructor. So basically, when you create an object like this, the constructor will always called, whether you have or you have it not. You have written or you have not written. Why? Because if you don't have any constructor, an empty constructor is added by the compiler, and that is why when you compile, there is no error. New car is working fine. This empty. Okay. But if you write, the logic is, if you write any constructor, if you write any constructor, if you write any constructor in a class, compiler will not add empty default constructor. Compiler will not do anything for you. If you write any constructor, compiler will not do anything for you. Clear? Clear to everyone? The more details we'll see it in the next session. Okay. Let me quickly jump here. So I'm not explaining each and every concept, because if I explain, people will not understand. So class and object, everyone understood.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
You have mentioned methods as well as constructor. Both purpose
Yes.
is same, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Why it isn't printing 2 times?
Printing 2 times. What is printing 2 times?
If you write constructor, then we also have to write methods, or we have to use either of them?
No, either of. See, I have written both, right? But you may not have. Ideally, in order to initialize object, we always write constructor. We don't write methods. We don't write methods. Okay, but just I have
didn't
shown
see you commenting that. That's why I asked.
Yeah. So the reason is, like, you can have both. If you want, you can have this one as well. You can have a default constructor and the method call, or you can have it directly like this. But ideally, for initialization, you always write constructor. No methods are required. But this syntax is also correct. This is also possible. Create object using empty constructor, and then you can also initialize with some method calls. Okay. The advantage is, in case of constructor, you don't have to write like this, right? Object dot some method, right? You don't have to write it. This is called automatically. Constructors are executed automatically. Okay. So if you look at my another PPT, and these are quite older PPT, but it will make sense. You can see here, constructor used to initialize the data members of the class. When I say data members, we're talking about instance variables. Okay, data members of the class. Special method. What is constructor? It's a special method with the same name as its class name. Okay, I can consider constructor as a special method, because constructor also, you can see it is doing the same thing like the method, right? That is why I'm saying special method. No return type of constructor, not even void. There is no return type for a constructor. Constructors are implicitly called when objects are created. When objects are getting created, that time it calls automatically. You don't have to call dot, object dot. Okay, and this is a very important point. By default, compiler provides a default constructor with no parameters in any class that doesn't explicitly include a constructor. If you don't write any constructor by yourself, compiler will add an empty default constructor for you. But in case if you have your own constructor, compiler will not provide anything. Constructor can be overloaded. Okay. In Java, we don't have destructor. In C++, we have concept of constructor as well as destructor. In Java, we have nothing like destructor. We have only constructor. Clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can we pass our arguments inside the constructor?
Yeah, so we are passing, right? We are passing the construct. That is why we are able to access. Yeah. If you look at, if you look at, see, these are the arguments, right?
So, but here we are calling the constructor student.
So this is how we can create object, right? Whenever you create object of in a class, right, you have to use new and the class name, right? You need a constructor, right? So either you can use empty constructor or you can use a parameterized constructor, and here you can pass your arguments.
No, sir, what I'm saying that where you have declared the constructor,
where we have declared the constructor. So in a class itself, we have decided this is my constructor 1, constructor 2. This is the place where we declare. Maybe I'm not getting a question. Can you come again?
sir, like the first argument int roll number. I want a roll number to be assigned as some data, like we are passing in that another program, student or Java. Sir, I want roll number to be assigned here as 1, 2, or whatever. So can we do that?
Okay. So you are saying I will not pass it from here, but I'll assign it here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be done, right? I will not use the one you are passing. I'm use some random code generator, or I can some hard code. I'll say this is my roll number.
Okay, sir, got it.
Yeah, possible. Yeah. So it is up to you, right? How you initialize. Ideally, roll number should be auto generated. Yeah.
Sir, if
Sir, by default, there is a copy constructor as well, or only default constructor?
No, don't confuse with that. Okay.
Sir, if we don't have a destructor in Java, then how we free the heap memory?
So we already have auto garbage collection, right? One of the feature of Java. You don't have to worry about garbage collections.
So when in the case of S2, when we didn't supply the third part, it was showing null. But in the case of S3, the output was showing 0 and empty spaces.
In case of S3, see, if let's say this line is not there, what happens? I'm saying student S3 new student, right? So this default constructor, empty constructor will be called, right? This is empty constructor written by me. Okay. If you look at, this is my empty constructor. What I said, name is equal to guest, course equal to this. What will be the roll number? Roll number will be 0, definitely, right?
Yes, sir.
Roll number will be definitely 0. But after that, I'm also calling this one, s3.set details. I'm passing some data, name and roll number. So name and roll number will change, right? In a student here, set details, this one, right? Name change, roll number change. It is all up to you, like whatever you are passing, how you are assigning, right? Accordingly, your object state will change, and that the same will be printed.
Sir, I'm talking about the previous case when you didn't supply that guest and EDAC.
Okay.
You just wrote the constructor as student S3.
Okay, fine. I got it. Yeah. So what you are saying, if you don't write guest, this one, right? Let's comment it out.
Yes,
yeah. So what will happen?
It will show 0 and 2 empty spaces because integer would 0.
No, empty. See, it will print null. Okay, let me run it. Unless I write here name equal to empty space, course equal to empty space. I added actually at that time. CLS, if you see, compile, and this turning, you can see the third number. What is coming?
Sandesh.
Is it not compiled? Or I have not saved it. Okay, I have not saved it. Sorry, I have not saved it, and that is why it was taking the older one. Let me compile it again, and now we can see null.
Yes,
0 null. Okay, but in case I add it, okay, for example, I don't want to print null. Null doesn't look good to me. I can say name equal to some empty space. Okay, course equal to some empty space. In that case, we can see empty space.
Okay.
Okay, it is up to you what you are assigning. Yeah. So I think.
Sir, you didn't answer my question.
Yeah, what was your question? No, we don't have those concepts here. Okay.
Okay.
No. Okay. Yeah. So any doubt, guys? No doubts? So what we covered today, we just understood what is class, what is object. Okay. what I'll give you one assignment. Let me write here because I'm not written right.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Which book we should follow?
Whatever is recommended by CDAC, right? You can see maybe in your source book or course what ebook or what book they are suggesting. You can follow any book. You can follow. Okay. Any book you can follow, because see, not all book I can say because every book has a different style. Okay. They discuss in a different way, and yeah. So just look at your course syllabus, right? And there are some reference book, there are some recommendation. Any one of the book you can use, and lot of materials are there on the internet. You can follow those, right? So let me write one assignment here for you. Okay. So similar to student, right? You have to create employee class. Okay. Uh, create a class employee. Okay. Uh, with fields like employee ID, a name, okay, department, and salary, for example. Okay, like this. Okay, it is up to you. You can take some more fields. Okay, address. Okay. Okay. Write constructors. Okay. Write required constructors for initialization. Okay. Okay. Write a method display employee details in the same class. Okay. So basically, you have to write a class employee. These are the fields. You can take a data type, maybe integer, string, or double string, like that. Required constructor, you can write some constructors for practice. Write method display in the same class. Okay. Now write another test class. Okay, where you have to take employee details from user using scanner. Okay. In the test class, right? In the test class, if you look at, right, here I pass some hard-coded values, right? Who is speaking? Mute, please. Let me forcefully mute. Yeah. Yeah. So here you can see I'm passing these hard-coded values, right? Alex, EDAX. So basically, you have to take it from the user. Take it from the user. Write another test class where you have to take employee details from user using scanner. Okay. Create the user using scanner and create objects and call methods. Okay, like set detail, display details and all. Okay. Okay, fine. This is what you have to do. Very simple example. So whatever we learn, you have to practice, and then second you have to do this one. That's it. Clear to everyone?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Second example, one more I write. Okay, and this one will be create a class circle. Okay, create a class circle. Okay, pass radius in the constructor. Basically, write a constructor which accepts radius as a argument. Okay, create a class constructor, create a class circle. It will have only one constructor which accepts radius as an argument. Okay, got it? Create a class circle, and the circle class will have an instance variable radius. Okay, we'll also have only one constructor which accepts radius as a parameter. Okay, and then write two methods in the class. Okay, one is get, or I can say calculate area, and other is calculate perimeter. Okay, and okay, and then write test class to test calling test method calls. Clear to everyone? Very simple. Basically, what you have to do, you have to write a class circle. Okay, and this will have a field radius. Okay, and you have a constructor here. Okay, which we will use to initialize this radius, right? Dot radius equal to radius, and then in the same class you need some method. Okay, we'll have a calculate area method, and you also have calculate perimeter. Okay, but these methods, okay, will return some data. Okay, let's say this is double and this is double. Okay, so using this radius which user has passed, you have to calculate the area and you have to return, calculate the perimeter, you have to return, and from the main class you will have another class circle test. Okay, from where you have to call. Got it? Very simple example. Okay, with the help of lab faculty in the evening, you can do this both the example. Clear, guys? Yeah, so we'll stop here. Any doubts? Let me know. The last minute.
Sir, can you please, while sharing today's notes, can you please share the .java files as well?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll share everything. Okay, I'll put in
Thank you,
in the shared drive. Okay, which you have, right, and you can download from there.
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys.
So what is the benefit of using this dot variable name?
Yeah. So this, as I said, right, this means current object. Okay.
Yes, sir. That is its functionality, but what is the benefit of it?
Yeah. So one benefit is if the local variable and the instance variable have the same name, right? In that case, there will be a conflict. So avoid the conflict by using this keyword. So this means I'm talking about this one. I'm not talking about the local variable.
Okay,
so this dot id means I'm talking about the instance variable.
So the only benefit is we can use same name.
Yes, and also it is much like, second is the your program will be, it's easy to understand. Whenever you are writing this dot something, it means you're talking about instance variable. You're not talking about some other kind of variable. Okay, we have a class variable also, we have a local variable also. We'll talk about later on that. Okay, so any variable if you use because right now if you have single line code, right, or 2 lines, if you have, let's say, 100 lines of code, somewhere you have some variable you are using, right? But this variable is a local or instance variable or is some static variable. It's not clear, right? So if you're using this, it's very clear looking at the code. Okay, this is nothing but some instance variable which you are modifying or reading or writing. So that is also we are using this. Okay, so not only that it is the same name, that is why we are using, even the names are different, then also we can use it. This is okay. We'll see more on the next session.
Sir, if there are multiple classes in a program, so in which class we have to write that main method?
Okay, so multiple classes in the same file or different files you're talking about?
In a same file.
Yeah, same. So that is not recommended way to write multiple class in the same file. Okay, first of all, in one file you should have only one public class. Make the class public as well. But there are scenario where you can have multiple class. Okay, and the main method, it is up to you, right? You can write main method in any class, doesn't matter. But ideally we write a main in a class which is completely independent. For example, student test, right? It has nothing to do with the student, right? In a student class, see, in my project, let's say I'm writing on application, so they're not only student class, there is a teacher also, student, teacher, classroom, okay, salary, payment, there are multiple classes are there. Now if you're writing main in a student class, it's very difficult to understand what is my entry point. Looking at the code, looking at all the files is very difficult. But if you have some class, let's say student main or student start, a lot of files are there. You can quickly identify, okay, this class might have main method. Okay, it's all about your convenience. But ideally, we write in some classes where there is no instance variable. Okay, or clear?
Sir, could you please go to the paint tab?
Which one? Which tab?
Paint, MS Paint.
Okay, paint. Okay, yeah, MS Paint. Yes.
Sir, here S1 and S2 are the objects. Okay.
Yes.
And it is stored in the stack.
See, listen, wait. When you say S1 and S2 are objects, right? When you say S1 and S2 are object, it means S1 is referring to some object. S1 itself is not object. It doesn't occupy space. It occupies space only size of integer. It holds address only. Okay. But this one occupies the more space depending on what many attributes it has. So we are saying S1, S2 are object, but ideally S1, S2 are not objects. They are a variable of reference type, class type. They are holding address of some objects. They are reference actually. But yeah, we are calling S1, S2 as object. Yeah. Tell me the next.
Sir, that's what I am.
Okay, that's what. Yeah. See, in C++, what happens, right? If you just write student S1, only this much, right? Object is getting created, right? So that is why people got confused if they are from that background. If you just write here, if I say student S1, S2, it means S1, S2 is created already, right? But in Java, it is not like that. S1 and S2 are just a reference created on the stack pointing to null. But when you say like this, S1 equal to new student, then actual object is getting created. S2 equal to new student, then object is getting created. Object is created, S1 is pointing to that. Object is created, S2 is pointing to that object. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other doubts, guys? Let's
Hello,
stop
sir.
here. Yeah.
Sir, I am getting error that I can. Sir, can I share my screen?
That we can see in the lab, right? Maybe you can share with your colleagues.
Sir, I am getting the error. Could not find or load main class hello.
Yeah. So in the hello you don't have main method, or maybe the signature of main method is not correct. It is not. You may have some spelling mistake. Look at public static void main. Is it the public static void main or something else? This signature should be there exactly.
Yes, sir. So that's correct.
Also, it should be compiled. Did you compile that file?
Sir, while compiling, the compilation takes place, but at the time of output, it shows that the main file cannot load the main file.
Do one thing. Just share me quickly, but we can see it in the evening. Otherwise, show me quickly. Yeah, I'll stop my sharing.
Oh, sorry. Wait.
Do it fast, okay? Because meanwhile I'll try to copy all the contents on the shared drive. Okay. Let me take this one and this one. We have assignment as well. The day 4, I'll keep it here, and I'll delete all the class files. Let me know if it is shared, okay? Because right now I'm putting everything in one place. Yeah. So day 4, I will try to zip it. Yeah, are you able to share? Yeah. So what you're saying, Java C hello.java. Can you just type Java C? Sorry, dir. Okay. Just write dir. Yeah. Yeah. So what file you have? Hello.java, right?
Yes,
okay. Yeah. And can you write? Can you show me your this Notepad++? Can you maximize? Yeah. So you have public class hello and public static void main system or predicate. Okay, okay. Can you go to your command prompt?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay. Can you just type set space class path? Set space class path. CLASS double S. CLASS path. Enter. Why you have set it path? This one.
Sir, earlier this was empty, but I that time the same sir उस समय इसके पहले सर जो ये क्लास पाथ था सर वो empty था तो सर
See path is different, right?
yes sir.
If you remember, right, we discuss always on the path. Set path equal to something. We never discuss on the class path. So why you said class path?
सर क्लास पास सर इसके पहले एम्प्टी था तो सर मतलब यूट्यूब पे सर वो सर्च कर रहा था उस टाइम भी
Okay,
एरर शो कर रहा था तो बाद में फिर
okay.
चेंज किया तब भी सेम एरर आ रहा था.
Okay, okay. Just say set class path equal to. Just type set class path equal to equal sign enter. What you have? Yes. Now you can run it. Compile and run. Compile first. Compile, yeah. First Java C. Spelling mistake. Java C. See this. We will cover class path later on. Don't worry.
Oh.
Coming? Yeah.
Yes sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Can stop your sharing. Yeah. Okay, guys. We'll stop here. I'll share. I will upload to that drive. Yes. Yes. Tell me.
Sir, we have to write only code in the assignment part. Or output also.
Code in the assignment. The assignment which I have given, right? See,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
first of all, whatever I taught, right? Same you can practice. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You can have a student test, and the similar to on the same lines, you can try to finish both the assignments. Okay.
Yes, sir. So while answering the assignment, we have write only code.
Yes, yes. You have to code. You have to compile. You have to run it, test it.
Output also. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Output will come, right? Definitely. For example, you created a class circle, right? And there is
Yes,
a method area, right? And in a test class, I create object of circle. I pass the radius. I'll say circle dot get area, and I'll print on the screen, right? System dot out dot println. So area will be printed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. All right. So I'll leave. Okay, and I'll add to that. Okay. Fine. All right. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.